Hey guys, in today's video, what we're going to be doing is talking about what I think is one of the most practical ways to help you reach your goals when it comes to money, and also how to formulate your thoughts when it comes to money. We're going to break this down into 3 different steps. Number 1 is making sure that you understand your mindset around money. Number 2 is actually thinking about the internal parts of what you want to accomplish with your money. And then number 3, an actionable step and plan to go out and invest this money. And then finally, at the end of this, I'm going to bring it all together so that you understand where you can be and actually making the money and living off the money that you invest. Because I think in a lot of these videos, people don't do that. And I want to make sure you know that whenever we take these steps today, you are actually on the road to financial freedom. All right, so let's jump in with the internal part of this. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit down for a minute, wherever you are. Actually, just imagine this for a second. I want you to imagine that you've built the business that you wanted to build, or you've worked the job that you wanted to work, and now you've made the money that you wanted to make, and you're living the life either 5, 10, 20 years from right now. I want you to think about that. Are you on a beach somewhere? Are you in another country? Are you still in the United States or in a different city that you want to be in? Are you at a cabin in the woods in the mountains? Are you by a river stream? Are you by the Atlantic Ocean? I want you to really visualize that. Think about what you're eating. Do you have kids? Are they going to school? Are they coming to visit you? What is that life for you? What does that look like? This is the internal part about whenever we're talking about retirement, because we're living that life right now. And it's somewhat similar to what we visualize it would be like, but we had to visualize that first to get us into the mindset of where we are today. And now we're talking, we started dating back in 2011, 2012. So over a decade now, we're in 2024. And so I want you to do that either with just yourself, if it's just you, or I want you to do that with your spouse and or your kids, right? I want you to sit there and I want you to take 10 minutes and actually internalize and dream about, close your eyes and say, what does my life look like if I have the money that I want to have in order to live the life that I want to live? And then I want you to you can pause this video if you want to and do that and write it down. And then we're going to step into the next step of this. Okay, now that you know and see the life that you want to have, you've imagined that life, you have that vision on what that life looks like. The next thing I want you to do is you're going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to write down what your monthly expenses are and what you think they might be in the future. I know that's hard to do, but if you want to get to that place, you've got to be able to do that today. Because if you start doing it later, it's going to be too late and you won't be able to have that life the way you want to have it. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to sit down, either you do it or you and your spouse, or if it's just you do it. I want you to sit down and I want you to write down your expenses. What are your monthly expenses? Once you write down those monthly expenses, the next step, and this is huge, this was huge for us because whenever we did this, we're like, oh, we do have enough money to retire or semi-retire. So what you're going to do is you write down your expenses, your monthly expenses, your annual, and then turn those into annual expenses, right? You just, whatever the monthly is, multiply it by 12, you come up with your annual expenses. The reason that's important is because you're going to start using that to start building your wealth, right? This is going to be your baseline. You can say, how much do I make or I spend each year? And I want to multiply that by 25. Now, the reason that's really important is because if you can write that number down and understand what that number is, then you can actually start formulating a plan through what is called the rule of 25. And I'm going to break that down for you in just a minute. Okay, so the rule of 25 says that you want to save at least 25 times your annual spend, and then that's going to set you up to be able to live off of your nest egg or your investments. Now, another rule is called the 4% rule. Now, I won't dive into all those. Stephanie and I will have videos about that in the future, but just know that the basic math is, how do I get to a point from going from where I am now, knowing what my expenses are each year, and then having 25 times that amount? Okay, so we have 2 things in place. We have our vision, and then we know exactly what our expenses are. The next step is taking the time right now. Don't do like all the other videos that you've watched where you're like, oh, this is great information. I want you to go to your computer right now. I want you to either go to Vanguard or Fidelity, and I'm going to pop up in just a minute some of the funds that you can consider investing in. You can do your own research. Always be safe and do your own research, but you're going to be looking for index funds, and we'll pop some up here. Stephanie already has some of the ones that we invest in, and I think these are really important to be able to understand. Dive in a little bit, research them, see how safe they are. But what you're going to do is you're going to open your computer, and what you want to do is have an automatic draw from your paycheck every month to start building your wealth now. Now you can start off with the lowest amount possible because I want you to then dive a little bit more in researching exactly how much you need to invest in order to be at the number that you want to be at. Is it $200,000? Is it $500,000? Is it $1 million? Right? You have to decide that for yourself, and your rule of 25 will tell you that. But what I want you to do right now, open your computer up, go to Vanguard or go to Fidelity, and I want you to pick an index fund, and I want you to go ahead and start putting money into that index fund. Setting up automations and everything will take no more than 10 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. And the reason that we're doing this is I think it's important to see your vision, know what your number is, right, with your rule 25, and then automatically start investing the number that you need to, or the amount that you need to every single month. Because if you can visualize where you want to be and what that life looks like, you can write that down. And then you can also know exactly how much money you're spending right now and what it might be in the future. And then all you have to do is then put a plan in place and actually take action and put those numbers into a computer. Then you are building the life that you want to build on automation, right? And so a lot of us think that we have to jump through all these hoops to have the life that we want to have 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Reality is it takes 10 minutes to set everything up. Of course, you've got to work, and that's going to take years. And I that's not lost on me because we did that. We worked for a decade plus trying to build the life that we want to build. But now we're here at the age of 39 living that life. And so I want that for you. And so what I want to do next is summarize exactly what we've done. Now, before we jump into summarization, I want to make sure that you'll see somewhere, if it hasn't already popped up, you'll see the index funds that you can go do more research on, either on Fidelity or Vanguard, and decide where you want to start. I think you can start on Fidelity for like $5. On Vanguard, it may take a little bit more, so you just decide which route you want to go. However, what I want to do now is just summarize what has occurred. We talked about our vision and what that looks like. That's our internal, like internalizing what we want out of life, what we want our life to look like in the future. And then what we did was we said, let's bring together the math, right, to align with that so that we can start building for that life. And finally, we said, let's go ahead and bring the external into this, meaning the action steps that we need to take that align everything together. So we have our internal and our external, and whenever you can align those two things together, the only thing that should happen as you continue to build and work, and of course there's life and things that are going to happen, but the thing that will happen as long as you stick to it is you will get that life that you want. And so this video was meant for those of you who are out there going, where do I start? How do I get started? How do I get to the life that I want to live? Currently living the life that I'm living now, the work, the everyday monotony of what I'm doing now to get to where I want to be. And I can tell you through experience and what we've done, this is how you do it. And you will probably do it faster than us because we were saving money and not investing. So our savings weren't growing at the rate of our investments right now, between 8 to 10%. And if we would have been smarter and had somebody guide us, like hopefully this video is going to help you, aligning the internal desires of what you want your life to be with the external actions of setting up your investment accounts, and those two things coming together, you will have your dream life. So with that being said, I really appreciate you, Stephanie. I appreciate you being a part of this journey with us, and we hope that the information that we give out to you is helpful. Again, everything that we do, we try to make sure that it is stuff that we've experienced and where we do deep research on. And with that being said, I hope you give yourself permission to be wealthy, and we'll see you on the next video.